corporate greed.
That wasn't too nice.
It is greed, is what it is. It's corporate greed, and when I say corporate greed, it's a machine, and the machine has become greedy and wants to just roll over the little guy. You know?
That doesn't sound like the problem is solved.
The only thing you can do is, if you are, say, a human monkey wrench, throw yourself into that machinery, and that's what I'm doing. I have a petition online. I have a lot of people on this petition. These are people who take the time to go out to the internet, sign an online petition, and then write in the comment section, I'm going to switch cable companies. I'm going to go to Verizon, or I'm just going to cancel my Comcast subscription. And you don't need that many people saying this to have someone at Comcast saying, wait a minute, what's going, what are we doing here? Who took WBGN off the air? Get him in my office now. And then you start to upset things there, you know, and they start to think, wait a minute, we're losing subscribers, and we've got a black panel on, and people are upset, and there's an idiot zombie out in the streets with a petition.
Not such an idiot.
And, you know, it's possible to mess with the machinery. That's what I'm looking to do.
Okay. I believe my co-host Linnell has the numbers. Do you want to give the exact name and address of the Comcast CEO?
of Comcast?
And by the way, I got a job for you. I want you, your entire crew, and everybody at WBGN to start bothering the heck out of the CEO of Comcast in Philadelphia. We have numbers. We have addresses. Will you do it? Will you fight for BGN and the It's Alive show?
I've been fighting
Will you
since,
continue to fight?
what, February 1st?
You're going to keep the fight up?
There we go. And it actually took me a little while to realize where I was, because I was doing the show
Right.
at your station
There you go.
on, what was it, the January 31st,
We'll
was
get
it?
to the calls in a
And
minute.
suddenly, nothing. They pulled the plug, and then here I am here. Wondering, and so you brought me up to speed, but really what we have to do is, yeah, we have to make phone calls and do all that stuff.
And we also have to call Congressman Doyle, Senator Specter, all these guys.
Let me point out that Congressman Doyle
Yeah, let's hear about that.
is on the
And then we have two calls to get.
is on the House Telecommunications Subcommittee.
Okay.
And he's the second in line on the committee. He's a very, very powerful man. You know, he's a Democrat. The Democrats are in charge right now of the committee. He can easily introduce legislation that says low-power TV stations get carried on cable.
Right.
They call it must-carry legislation. He can easily do that. But because he doesn't hear from any of his constituents from Pittsburgh, he thinks that nobody in Pittsburgh wants this.
So he's not hearing from us.
So, right. So,
Oh,
but what he
geez.
does hear from every day, because there's big-time lobbies, you know, he hears from the Comcast lobbyists who are in his office every day, and he hears from the cable lobbyists who are in his office every day, and they keep telling him that nobody in Pittsburgh wants WBGN and nobody wants low powers on
And
the
that's
cable.
just absolutely not true.
Right. Of course, it's not.
So, so Mr. Bruno, you just kind of backed me up. We need to contact Congressman Doyle, don't we?
He would be the one that could actually introduce legislation
Did you
to
hear that,
change
America?
the law.
You want to reiterate that for us?
He can, Congressman Mike Doyle can change the law by introducing legislation for must-carry for low powers in America.
And let us, I'm going to get to Linnell, and then we have two calls. Let me make a point here, what Mr. Bruno just said. He can change the law. Think about that, America. He changes that law, every single cable company in America will be required to carry every single low-power station. Now, there's only one little bitty problem with that. This DTV going from analog to digital. Seems to me that's also a problem for, it costs money to do the transition. So I got an idea. It's kind of a crazy idea. Since we have so many stimulus packages going out there, why don't we get grants and fund the owners and organizations of low-power TV so that once they're required to be on Comcast and other networks, they can actually make the transition. You think you could go for a grant by any chance?
Well, I don't know if Greg Herman is still on the line or not, but
Greg, are you there?
So, yeah, we're here, Ron, and not only that, we have Amy Brown, who's the executive director of the Community Broadcast Association. She represents all the low-power stations like Ron's across the United States.
Yeah, those guys in our team were in Washington, D.C., asking for three things, and Greg and Amy, maybe you guys can explain that better than me about what we're asking for in Congress as we speak.
Let's go for it.
Go ahead, Amy.
Well, we were in Washington, D.C. We held a press conference this past Wednesday afternoon talking about the diversity of our ownership and promoting the small businesses and the good things they do in their community. We also had 4 different items that we believe, as low-power broadcasters, we feel they should allow or should provide to our industry. First and foremost, and I did just jump in on this conversation, so I apologize if it's been repeated, but first and foremost, Americans deserve to have access to our television station. And we are telling the FCC and the government that what we do is so unique and so niche and such a benefit to the communities that we are saying, give us a method to get our stations on some kind of cable and or satellite or both or any access to the viewers that's out there and available to television broadcasters. We're also, and I think I just heard someone mention this, we are asking for money in a grant to build out our digital facilities. The government gave full power stations and did all their engineering for them. They left the low-power industry to find their own other channels to go digital on and to do their own engineering to prove interference issues are not there. We had to do that all on our own. So we're asking now for assistance to build out our digital facilities. And if the government is willing to give us money, we're not going to walk away and squander it and say thank you. We're going to also tell the government we will give you one of our channels for mobile use in the community of license for the city to use however they choose to. So they will get a benefit from giving us that grant. Number 3, give us the option to do different things with our TV spectrum. There are many other opportunities out there where we could provide broadband or mobile or other types of services to the community and still be small businesses serving our next door neighbors. And then the last thing, and the thing we hope never happens, is if you can't see fit to do any of those or a combination of one or the other, then give us the opportunity to auction off our spectrum. Let us have an auction where anybody can come in and buy that spectrum back at a reasonable price, a per pop price that we would settle on with the government, and we'll split those proceeds. You'll get that spectrum back, and we can at least walk away with our heads held high and have something else to do in the community and have other opportunities to do something else in small business.
Yeah,
Those are the things we're asking for, but we want to keep being broadcast.
Amy, let me backtrack on one thing you said in our option number 2, where you were talking about we should get some government grant money. You know, we have spectrum, and if you remember on 9/11, everyone saw the documentary where the firefighters were inside the building, but they couldn't communicate wouldn't see what the rest of the world was seeing. Well, our spectrum we occupy is prime spectrum. And what we're saying is we don't want it for free. You know, if you're going to give us some grants so we can go digital, we want to give you something back.
Right.
And a portion of our spectrum, we want to go to those two-way radios for those firefighters and those first responders so that they can have more spectrum wherever we are around the country, and they can use that spectrum so that, you know, we're giving them something back
hold on a
of
minute.
what we have.
Hold on a minute.